Anthony Callery, we're still at the rooftop of the Margaritaville Times Square Resort. How are you doing?
Fins up.
Yeah, baby.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of No Vacancy Live. This one is pre-recorded for your viewing pleasure. I don't know where Anthony and I are, but we're having fun. Of course, that's Anthony Callery. I'm Glenn Hausman. Thanks for watching. How are you doing today, Anthony?
Good. We're at Margaritaville. I'm going to go swimming, and I'm going to actually do what I did in one of my shows. I'm going to go swimming with my suit on.
Nice. I love that. And all right, before we get started, I do want to say, hey, go. And if you guys are interested in doing a investment in a hotel, why not invest in Radisson Hotels Americas? They've got great brands out there. You know, I recently stayed at the Radisson Red, how much I love that property so much. Radisson Inns and Suites, lots of other great properties for you. They're going to deliver money to your bottom line. Ask Phil Yu over there for help. Right, Anthony?
He's the man.
He is. All right, so today we're going to do something a little bit different. Now, this company is called Inspirato, and they focus on luxury vacation rentals, but they're not new to this. They've been around for quite some time. To help us bring us through, we got David Kallery, COO of Inspirato, with us. How are you, sir?
Good, Glenn. How you doing?
All right, I'm doing pretty good. So you guys are really well ahead of the curve here, but even more so because you did have a former company before the handlers who created this company along with you created Inspirato, and that was Exclusive Resorts. Now, I did PR for a little itty bitty bit of time in like 2003, 2004, and my company represented Exclusive Resorts, and that's the first time I learned about this whole model. Yep. Not timeshare. Vacation, it was a totally different kind of way of doing things, and I thought that was really great. You could get these amazing luxury homes, be with your whole family, and then bring in chefs and all of that kind of stuff too. It was really cool.
Very much so.
Yeah,
that was the original tagline for Exclusive Resorts, was bringing the space and comforts of a home with the amenities and service of a 5-star hotel. So you just hit it on the head.
Yeah,
exactly
I love that. So that led to creating Inspirato. Why don't you share with us with a little bit about how that got beginning, and then we'll get into some more questions.
So you mentioned Brad and Brent. They started Exclusive back in 2002, and things worked out really, really well there for a number of years. Then the financial crisis hit in 2007, 2008, and Brent is an entrepreneur. He's a passionate entrepreneur. Right. He had a vision for creating something that was a little bit different, a little bit more flexible. So he left and he started Inspirato. I shortly followed him. At Inspirato, the main difference between the business models between Inspirato and Exclusive is that at Inspirato, we do not own the assets. We do leases. At ER, they owned all that inventory.
Oh,
so
interesting.
A little bit more challenging. At Inspirato, we can get out of a lease relatively easy. We can go where our members want us to go. But you know, at the heart of it, that's what it is. It's a lease model, asset-light model versus owning the inventory.
Right, and that's really essential, I think, for you guys. And the hotel industry went to that asset-light model fundamentally about 25 years ago when they started shedding all of the big properties, selling off to different companies, and became more pure franchise companies. Now, I'm not suggesting you're anything like that, but you can see where the idea of being asset-light is healthy to the bottom line of a business in a lot of ways, right?
No doubt. And we still say, Glenn, that we manage and control these assets. I mean,
right.
We're not doing 6-month leases on these. We're doing generally 5 to 10-year leases.
Right.
So we really control that asset. Our own furniture and fixtures are on the inside. We put our own Sonos systems in some of the homes.
Ooh, I love Sonos. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so we really control the asset. You're not going to find Inspirato homes on other marketplace sites or third-party sites. We really control that asset fully, the same way the Four Seasons would control, any hotel that they operate.
Right. Anthony?
Mr. Glenn, can I ask you a question since I don't have my headphones because they weren't working?
Yeah.
Can you hear him good? Is he close enough to the mic?
I can tell. I can hear him. But yeah, getting closer is always good. I actually pumped up us on the soundboard as well.
Okay, sorry, try to get as close to the mic as possible.
Anthony.
Right? But I love that model. I love that model, and you hit it before it became kind of fashionable. Everybody wants to travel that way now. I can't even stop my own family and friends from going to places like that. I said, why don't you can't know me and not go to a hotel, but people want more room and people want to kind of manage their own space. And also with hotels now, you don't even get housekeeping until the third or fourth day. we're really, we're these kind of markets are really going to challenge the hotel, I believe.
Yeah, look, hotels are, I mean, we do tremendous, probably 30–40% of our business is sending our members or
Right.
subscribers to a hotel.
And
So
we'll
we
explain the whole subscriber thing in just a minute.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
continue.
But we're very,
Yeah.
very pro hotel, and our members and subscribers love to go to hotels. But, there is something special, unique, and different about going to a killer big house.
Right.
It's where the memories are created, right? Very few times do you say to your friends, hey, come on up. I'm on floor 50,
Right.
and we'll hang out in the hotel room for a few hours.
Yeah,
But
I'll sit at the desk chair. You sit on the bed.
Exactly.
Right.
At an Inspirato house, I mean, you can do everything. There's pools in the backyard. You have board games. There's a million different things you can do. You're bringing a private chef. It's truly where the memories are made. When I look back at my last 20 years, I mean, I've raised my kids over the last 20
Right.
years in exclusive resorts and Inspirato assets. And it's truly created some of the best memories.
I do want to get back to hanging out in the room. I will tell you, for 7 years, my production crew and I hung out in the Holiday Inn Express hotel room, 20 of us,
All right.
after a shoot. So it does happen.
Anthony, I've only known you for a few minutes, but I can imagine that you doing that.
And my guess is it wasn't a Holiday Inn Express in New York City, because that would be really cramped
Right,
there. All right. So, David, what's interesting is that back when you first started, you probably had to do, through your PR mechanism and stuff like that, a whole lot of explaining about what this is. Something that seems so common sense now, so practical, so on target with the way that people want to travel today, wasn't like that 12 years ago when you started this company. What was it like then, and how has it changed?
No, you're right. It was a bit more of a twisting of the arm, right?
Yep.
But there's been something that's really gone in our favor, right? As people have started to travel to homes, we coined a phrase called vacation roulette, right? Because you never really knew what you were going to get if you just went to one of these marketplace sites or a villa rental site or a property management site. Sometimes you'd show up and it would look like the pictures. Sometimes you'd show up and it would be quite, astonishing.
Right.
But oftentimes you'd get there and it wasn't quite what you expected. It's one of the great things about Inspirato, right? We're a brand. We manage and control that asset, as I've mentioned a couple of times. And when you show up there, you know it's going to be perfect. The other really, really important element, I mentioned this at the start, is we wrap all of this incredible service with it, right?
Yep.
Before you leave, we have a team of people that know you. They know the way you like to travel. They know the types of things that you like to do when you get there. They do all that pre-arrival work. And then when you show up, we have people on the ground there. You're not calling into some 800 number if something's broken. Right. There's a concierge at the home ready to assist you with anything you need. So that makes the experience better as well.
So it's almost like the services of a hotel that we've come to expect, set against the backdrop of different type of luxury, because it's so much more expansive. But I think that's the whole point of luxury, is taking away all of the issues before they happen for your potential customer, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're never gonna make hospitality 100% bulletproof, right? But being there, being on the ground, having control of the whole interaction allows you to recover very, very quickly, and allows us to address any concern that someone would have. Obviously, whether they're in one of our homes, or if they're with a hotel partner, or they're doing experiential travel. Inspirato is now into safaris, cruises, and different things of that nature.
Destinations everywhere, or every state, every country.
We would consider ourselves to be a global company. Obviously, the bulk of our properties are in North America, Hawaii. We have a very strong presence in Mexico, a strong presence in the Caribbean, as well as Europe. I mean, we have north of 30 homes in Italy and London, the UK, Paris, Florence. So we've got a very good standing over in Europe as well.
Interesting. So let's talk a little bit about the model, how this is different, because it's not a hotel. It's not vacation ownership. It's something different, something in between. How does it work as far as you explain it to people?
So we have two different types of ways that you can access the curated experiences that Inspirato offers. The first is just through basically club access. It's $600 a month, $7,200 a year. And again, we wrap that with all the service that I spoke about earlier. And that allows you to look at the portfolio, choose which trips you want to go on, and basically pay for each vacation on an a la carte basis. $600 a month, $7,200 a year. We also have a product that we invented in 2019. It literally probably took our founder, Brent, who you mentioned earlier, Handler, almost 20 years to take this concept that he had in his head for a long time and bring it to life. Mid-2019, we launched Inspirato Pass. So Inspirato Pass is $2,500 a month. The nightly rates for all the accommodations, the taxes, the fees, the resort fees that you might have when you go on a stay, are all included in that $2,500 a month.
Beautiful.
It works in a remarkable way. You basically go online. I sometimes liken it to Netflix or Spotify. You're going to see a list of 1.5, 1.6 million trips that are refreshing literally every 20 minutes.
And how many days can you stay for that $2,500 a month?
So anywhere from a weekend, 2 nights, to as long as 2 weeks.
I suppose it depends on the nature of the specific property and the services, amenities, and all that.
It does. And as I mentioned, that list is refreshing every 20 minutes or so. We have our inventory on there, so the several hundred homes that we have, you'll see various vacations for those assets, as well as our hotel partners, and even experiential travel. You'll see all those on the list. And you just pick your trip, book it, go on the stay, and come home and book your next trip. And it's all included in that $2,500 per month.
That's pretty good, and it seems to be working really well for you guys. So what is it about that luxury consumer that they appreciate this subscription model? Because I would figure they wouldn't be too worried about the cost variable and stuff like that, because they're already at the top part of the market. But that's not the case, is it?
No, that's true. But look, everybody likes to make sure that they're getting a good deal. You know, no matter how affluent you are. I mean, you don't want to get ripped off, right? And this is, I think, the more importantly than thinking of it from that perspective, it's fun. It's actually really exciting. I mean, you know, we have members who tell me that every week they're looking at the list numerous times throughout the week, just sort of dreaming about where they're going to go next. And they let the pass really drive where they're going to go. There's a tremendous amount of flexibility in it. I mean, you could go in Europe one week and continental US the next and head down to Mexico. I mean, it's really a very, very flexible, almost gamified type product.
Right. So say I really love traveling. So do I get more than one subscription, just pay for additional nights? How would something like that work?
So everybody that buys Inspirato Pass also gets club access. So if you chose a trip off the pass list, you went on it and wanted to just go on a trip that wasn't on the list, you could obviously just book that on your own through your club membership. So we see members doing both. We do have some subscribers that get multiple passes and almost ladder their trips, right? They book one with one pass, they book another with the second. So they're literally going from one trip to the next. There's a few folks that do that, but most of them are taking a handful of vacations over the course of the year and just really using the list to manage their travel dollars. And as I mentioned earlier, it's almost gamified travel in a way.
So why create the subscription model? What does it do for you as a company that just went public?
It's a great question. So, I mean, the first thing it does is it allows us to monetize some of the assets that we might not otherwise monetize. We'll take a 3-day sort of broken week and put it on the pass list. And it's really going on that pass list at a tremendous discount. I'm talking about, 50, 60, 70% off what you might pay for that same 3-night stay. So we're really using it as a way to get member engagement or subscriber engagement. That's probably the main reason.
Yeah.
And it gives the hotels an opportunity to use another channel. And I'd imagine, it's still a third party for them, but I would imagine it's more lucrative for them.
Well, Anthony, you bring up a really, really great point, actually.
Because I'm really smart. I'm like Glenn, I'm really smart.
The hotels like this offering. We have a number of great hotel partners because of the opacity of it. When a member or a subscriber goes to the pass list, they just see the list of trips. They're not seeing a nightly rate on there. And remember, it's $2,500 a night, $2,500 a month, regardless of which trips you're picking or how many trips that you're picking in a month or a quarter or over the course of the year. So for a hotel operator, they're taking some of their inventory that they know has a high probability of spoiling, and they're moving that inventory to us. We're putting it on the pass list. It's opaque, so there's no price that's seen. Compare that to moving inventory through an OTA.
That's going to be my next question.
60, 70, 80% discount. So hotel operators really, really like that model as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I imagine it's a great model for them because we're always looking for a different avenue because third parties, you have to reduce your rate and it's a big expense.
Exactly.
Interesting. So how is this being received on Wall Street, this whole idea?
Well, look, it's early. We launched.
Well, you seem to have got in at a good time.
don't know about that, my friends. Look, we went public in February. The whole reason why we went public was to raise some additional capital. We launched Pass in mid 2019, and for the first 7 months, it was gangbusters.
Right.
I mean, we really far exceeded even our own expectations around it. We had very high expectations. The pandemic hit. We saw a little bit of a slowdown, but then very quickly, much quicker than we thought, we sort of took off. And Pass has been a big catalyst to that. So we decided to go public. We went public in February, and look, the market, as everybody knows that's listening to this or watching it, the market's taken a bit of a hit. We're not too worried about things. We're bullish on the future overall for travel, especially the affluent segment of travel. We think will continue to look for new experiences and to go to new and exciting places. So we're not worried about what's happening in the market today. We think over the long term, things will bounce back and we'll be
What cities are you seeing the most demand in right now?
The most demand?
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy. Mexico has been in very high demand over the last, really since the pandemic began. We can't get enough inventory in Mexico. But as you'd imagine, drive-to locations here in the States was in massive demand during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
So, if you lived here in the Northeast, we got a ton of new property in New England and Maine, the Hamptons. We just got a new development there. We got a new development in Nantucket.
Right.
So we've really expanded our drive-to locations for the major metropolitan areas in the United States as well.
That's really great, especially when you're talking about the Hamptons. That's probably about 90 miles or so from New York City. On a Monday, that's about a 2.5-hour drive. On a Friday, it's about a 12-hour drive. But it's really convenient to get out there. And they have these Hampton Jitney buses that go out there all the time, should you want. But a lot of your people probably flying in by helicopter is my guess over there. So that's really interesting because what you're saying really rings true. I think a lot of people wanted to go to Mexico because they had a different approach to handling COVID in terms of limitations and stuff like that. But also the drive-to market makes a lot of sense for people that were reticent to get on those airplanes, that weren't really ready to fully commit to travel, but were ready to hop into their cars, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And look, I mean, Mexico, the travel there was restricted for a few months during the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
But it's an easy destination to get to for a lot of the folks here in the States. I mean, we're headquartered in Denver, Colorado. In the middle of the winter there, I can get on a flight 2 hours later, I'm in paradise. And it's
beautiful.
a direct flight. It's super simple. Same for most of California. And even a lot of the Northeast has direct flights to all parts of Mexico now.
Are you noticing when people are booking, they're using the houses for also work? It's work and vacation?
Look, that's obviously been a big trend since COVID, right? The flexibility of working from home, working remote, not being tied to an office. We think that's another macro trend that's really played in our favor. People would normally book a 1-week trip, and during COVID they were booking 2-week trips, sometimes 3 or 4 week trips. Or going back to back to a variety of destinations, and Zoom and Teams and this whole work from home lifestyle has really contributed to an increase in our overall bookings as well.
Glenn, I didn't use the word leisure.
Thank you. I appreciate you not doing that. That's a big relief to me. So let me ask you this, David. How is luxury travel changing? And we don't, here at No Vacancy Live, we don't believe fundamentally it's changing because of COVID. There are already trends in the marketplace that were just accelerated because of COVID. What are some of the changes that you're seeing in the way that people want to travel in the luxury sphere?
Well, look, I think first and foremost, I think for our consumer, safety is very important. They want to know that when they showed up, the house has been properly cleaned. That's probably been the single biggest trend, right? The level of service that's required today to make sure that our consumer is safe and happy once they get there been a huge trend that we've seen. Length of stay is probably the other biggest one that we just talked about. I mean, people are staying longer periods of time, and they're traveling more frequently. We have about 14,000, a little over 14,000 total subscribers. So we can see exactly how often they're traveling, how long they're staying, and we can compare that, right? We have an excellent retention rate. Our members are with us year after year after year, so we can compare and contrast that. So length of stay, safety are probably the two biggest things that have come out of COVID, I'd say.
Interesting. So what about you talk about retention?
You got windy quick, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm just so you guys know. I know you're not wearing headphones. I'm really trying hard to change the microphones that are on to lower the wind. But when you're thinking about service and providing really good service as we move forward, the hospitality industry has been set with labor challenges and issues. So how are you approaching it, and what is the stomach for your customer base for more on-demand service or computer-powered services, those kinds of things where you don't necessarily need high touch but still deliver high service?
Well, look, we employ a combination of great technology to help support the travel experience, but we're also just big believers in good old-fashioned relationship building. So when you subscribe or join Inspirato, you don't call into a phone center and get a different person each time. You have a team of people. The teams are usually 4 or 5 people, and they really, really get to know you, how you like to travel, where you like to go, what types of things you want to do, what types of things you want to avoid, right? There's certain things that travelers, especially the affluent traveler, wants nothing to do with, and we know those things about our traveler. So that's probably one of the big differentiators between our model and a lot of the marketplace models is the level of service that you're going to get when you travel with Inspirato.
Are you picking up that person yelling down there? Can you hear that?
I don't know if they could pick up through the microphone,
oh,
but
okay.
I could definitely hear that.
Are you looking to develop your own to get some development going, or no?
So we've not done that. We generally partner with high net worth individuals that own these assets that are either underutilizing them or want to monetize them in some manner. Investors, right, that own a small cluster of homes in particular markets, or developers that are popping homes out of the ground. They know they want to sell them over time. They're not going to sell 30, 40, 50 units all at once. So we'll partner with them to lease units for some period of time. But yes, Anthony, we are looking at an opportunity now that we're public on going out and playing a little bit more of an active role in potentially working directly with developers, potentially putting some of our own capital into some of these projects to get them moving, get the project out of the ground per se, and then probably selling that asset. We are committed to an asset light structure over the long term.
Right.
It's worked well with us. It's really helped us scale the business, but using some of our own capital to get things moving quicker and to be in the places that we want to be in is definitely something that we're looking
70% of all high-end apartments in New York are owned by people that not using their, mostly out of the country. So do you have a lot of New York City properties?
No, we don't really have we've got a number of great hotel partners here, but no actual apartments. Actually, I take that back. We do have one apartment, but really it's primarily hotel stays. The length of stay in New York is obviously a few days, and with great hotel partners, our members are plenty satisfied with the way that we have it.
Is apartments in New York City, is it just too expensive so the model doesn't work?
No, it does work. I mean, we just find that the length of stay is so short in New York, generally speaking, that a great suite at a wonderful hotel partner in New York works well.
You want to spread out in a house for a week, but 2 or 3 days in the middle of New York City, no big deal. Right. Plus, you're probably not in the space nearly as much as you would be if you're in a vacation home rental in Mexico or Denver or something like that.
Yeah, and that's pretty typical of us in major metropolitan cities. I mean, in London, again, great hotel partners, a few apartments, but most of the homes that you're going to see, the single-family homes, are in resort vacation destinations. New York is obviously a destination where people come to vacation, but again, length of stay is a little bit shorter.
Last question I got for you. What are you thinking about in terms of travel trends going forward? My big concern is the pent-up demand is just that, pent up. People may not be vacationing as much in the next year or two. Maybe I'm wrong. How do you see it?
Well, we're not seeing that. I mean, our forward-looking bookings are very, very strong. They're meeting our expectations, maybe even exceeding our expectations a little bit. I'd say, Glenn, the big thing that we're seeing is this, continued trend around experiential travel. We have a division of Inspirato called Bespoke, where essentially we will build a vacation for someone, whatever they want to do. You want to go on a spiritual journey to India, we'll help build that for you. My wife and I, a couple of years ago, went back to Ireland, where my ancestors are from, and did a 2-week completely customized vacation. to Ireland that our team built for us. We're seeing
Wow.
more and more of that. A little bit less off the beaten path, these cruises and safaris, even events. I mean, we did this year the Masters golf tournament in Augusta. We've done that every year for probably the last 7 or 8 years. But we're seeing that trend towards experiential travel is powerful, and more of our members are taking advantage of it. Our numbers in both of those areas, for experiences and for bespoke travel, are off the chart in a positive way.
All right, I lied about having one. That was my last question. I got one more. You partnering with any of those private jet companies? It sounds like a natural fit.
We do. We partner with Wheels Up, Kenny Dichter and the team over there at Wheels Up. They've been a wonderful partner for the last several years. We've been with them for almost since the beginning. A number of our members are members of Inspirato and of Wheels Up. We have a partnership where their members gain access to Inspirato and vice versa. So it's worked very, very well.
Glenn doesn't need that. He has his own jet.
Unfortunately, it's about this big, and I can't fit in it. But I like to fly around my house and go zoom all the time. All right, Anthony, any final questions?
No,
for our
I'm good, man.
guest?
It was great. It was very informative.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. How can people learn more about Inspirato?
Well, the easiest way to learn about it is to just go to inspirato.com, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. And give us a call, and we'll be sure to help.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Please hang tight while we wrap up the show. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you.
Glenn and Anthony.
All right, Anthony. That was a lot of fun. Interesting to learn about a different facet of the hospitality industry.
Absolutely. And you're hearing more and more of this, and you're hearing more and more ways people are changing the way they typically travel. And as we were talking, the wind was picking up.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't tell because my hair didn't move.
Well, check out mine, even though I just got it cut for the NYU Hospitality Investment Conference, where we are taping this in conjunction with. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Be sure you download the audio versions at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, wherever you like to download your shows. We are there. He's at Anthony Hotels. I'm at Traveling Glenn. And, of course, if you're listening to us now, want to view us, check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, again, wherever your socials are. Ooh, we're getting a new point of view here, Anthony, yeah?
Oh, no.
You have to move the camera, not the laptop. I changed the
I have the wrong camera.
All right, everybody, let's just get out of here. Remember, you got one life, so blaze on and
be kind to yourself.
see you all another day.
Another day?